Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Chris Lethal. Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be discussing UFC Fight Night Bautista versus Oliveira, or Vegas 113. There are 13 fights, so let's get into it. We got Priscilla Cachoeira versus Claudia Sagula. Uh, a mix of styles here. Hold on, let me pull up my notes quickly, because I forget how either of these women fight. Is Claudia a kickboxer or a wrestler? Okay, yeah. Claudia trains with Kyla Harrison and Michelle Montague. She's really clean with her takedowns. She's a really good wrestler. She has good submissions, good takedowns, decent boxing, decent kicks, but not too good on the feet. But she does have great wrestling, good takedowns, good on the top, does finish fights while on top. And Priscilla is a striker. She sucks on the ground, bad takedown defense, cannot get up once you get taken down, and she gives up mount a lot, struggles against trip takedowns, which I see a lot. She always gets tripped and taken down, which is a specialty of Sagula. She is really clean. She can't stop people from moving positions on the ground, can't get up, doesn't offensively wrestle. Her only advantage here is that she has power, and she's a much better boxer and striker than Claudia. But I just see Claudia taking her down and just holding her there, maybe getting a submission, but judging from the amount of decisions here, holy shit, I was wrong. Judging from the decision against a very shit opponent in Irina, I am gonna go with Claudia by decision. Moving on to Muin Gaffarov versus Jacob Witchclatch. Witchclatch beat Patchy Mix, which isn't an impressive win anymore. Muin is coming off of a Rinya Nakamura massive upset. Both of these fighters aren't too great in my opinion. I see people heavily taking Muin Gaffarov in this fight, and I'm truly not understanding why. He's not terrible, and he does have good wrestling. He lost to good competition. He lost to Saeed. He lost to Castaneda. And it's not that bad of a loss. He's beaten terrible competition. I don't rate Rinya too highly. Jacob, as we saw, he is very durable. He has good striking, good defense on the feet, pretty long, hard jab, good calf kicks, but his specialty is his jiu-jitsu, his submission game. He's very bouncy on the feet, good chin, massive heart, doesn't give up, good combos, but his, again, specialty is his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu game. He has a really clean back take, and he does have really good cardio, so I don't think that will be an issue in this fight. On the other hand, we have Muin Gaffarov. Really good striker, not really good, I'd say average striker, does have some cool spin attacks, but he does have good cardio, he does have good wrestling, and he can put on a heavy wrestling pace. He doesn't get caught too often on the feet, he does have good striking defense, decent head movement, and he is able to stalk down his opponents and cut off the cage, get good body kicks, good leg kicks. But the thing is, Jacob is a good pressure fighter, and Muin does not respond great to pressure, so I'm going to lean Jacob Witchclatch here. I don't think Muin will be able to take down Jacob. Jacob has a good takedown defense, and Muin has some of the worst takedown entries I've ever seen. So I think we could get a submission win by Jacob or a decision win. But I'm leaning decision win Jacob Witchclatch. I don't even have to click on this fight. There's too many women's fight. Kong Wang versus Edwara Mora. Both of them missed weight. This is a stylistic nightmare for Kang Wang, but I am going to go Kong Wang. Eduardo Mora, really good jiu-jitsu, great wrestler, terrible striker. And Kang Wong is a great striker and a decent to ass wrestler. And I think Edwara is not going to be able to get this fight to the ground. So I think Kang Wong or Kong Wang by decision. Javid Basharat versus Jeannie Vasquez. Or Giovanni, not Jeannie, yeah, I think Gianni Vasquez. Javid. So the only thing I've ever seen of Javid, I've never seen him fight, to be honest. I only know him from this fight where he got flatlined by Ricky Simone. So I thought he was pretty bad. I'm not going to hold you. But before I did the tape, I thought he was bad. He's actually very talented. I think he is actually a pretty good prospect, even though he doesn't have the finishing ability that neither Basharat brother has. I think he has really beautiful timed kicks, great side kick, very technical on the feet, good timing, good clinch game, and he does have really good wrestling, and he does have good top control. He does have a dangerous submission game. And he does have good submission defense. He does have takedown defense. Good transitions on the ground. He's very fast on the feet. He's good at range. He has good kicks, especially his body kick. And he doesn't look for finishes. He is okay with just getting to a decision. And he doesn't really have power in his hands or his kicks. But he is very, very talented on the feet and on the ground. And Gianni, short notice, bad weight cut. He's not a bad prospect, but he's never going to be someone in the UFC. I think this is going to be a really bad stylistic matchup for him. He's a good boxer. He has really fast hands. He has a solid chin, but he thrives when he can pressure and when he can get into the pocket and start brawling. And when he can take down his opponents and he does have good submissions on his back. He does have a pretty good armbar. But I watched one of his fights where he got taken down about 5 times in one round. So I think Javid will be able to just manhandle him on the ground. He has bad finishing ability. He has terrible competition. And he struggles against really good kickers. In another one of his fights, he was just getting pieced up by head kicks, body kicks. He really struggles against kickers, and he struggles against people who can keep range against him. And that's all Javid's going to be able to do, and I think Javid's going to be able to pick this man apart for 15 minutes and win by decision. I think this is going to be a very decision-heavy card. And on to another women's fight that I'm going to, a lot of these, these next 3 fights, I'm probably going to skip over going in depth because I think these are all going to be first round finishes besides the women's fight. So, quickly in this women's fight, Ketlin Souza, very powerful, very pressure heavy, pocket fighting style. She has good boxing hooks. She's very powerful, solid overhands. She likes being very violent. That's her style. She does have power for the women's division. She has decent jiu-jitsu. She's not going to be able to, she's not a slouch on the ground. She's surprisingly bouncy. She does have some kicking game that she doesn't utilize too much. She builds into a fight, so her first round is probably her worst round. She has pretty good cardio. I don't really see her gassing out in this fight. But her flaws are she's very hittable. She gets hit a lot. Bad takedown defense. Terrible fight IQ. And she has no wrestling game plan. And she isn't very good in the clinch. While Bruna Brazil is a tall, lanky kickboxer. She manages range really well. She has beautiful head kicks, beautiful body kicks, beautiful leg kicks, especially her leg kicks. She mixes in combos really well, so she mixes in knees, kicks, and boxing in combos. She does good body work. She doesn't just headhunt. She has decent boxing, but her main specialty is her kicks. And she has great timing. She has great timing on body knees when the people come in and rush, which will be helpful against Ketlin, who will want to be able to get inside and get off her boxing. And I think Bruno will just be able to use her body kicks, and I can see her hurting Ketlin with a body kick in this fight. But I don't think Bruno will get the finish because Souza has shown durability. So I think this is going to be another decision. Moving on. Nikolai Votenikov versus Nico Price. I don't rate Nikolai too high. I don't rate Nico Price too high. Um, he's pretty good in the clinch. Nico. He hasn't been subbed, so he has great subs. He's good in the clinch, good knees, good elbows in the clinch. Decent wrestling. He's pretty high volume. He has good cardio, but his flaws far outweigh his positives. He's frail. He's pretty slow nowadays. He's older. He's 35 years old, but his body's been through a lot, so he's a lot of miles. Compromised chin. Takes a lot of damage. Has no power in his hands. He's unable to pressure people now. He has terrible takedown defense. He can't get up off the bottom. And he loses to really bad fighters now. So basically the only way he goes, he's not going to be able to get a finish in this fight. So he has to take Nikolai to a decision. And I just don't see that happening. Even though I don't rate Nikolai too highly, I do believe he'll be able to get this one done. He's a long fighter. He's very long. He does have power in his hands. He has a good right hand. Decent combinations. He's mainly a headhunter. He doesn't really go to the body. He has a decent chin, so I can't see Nico knocking him out. And he has a lot of flaws. His terrible wrestling's going to be exposed in every one of his fights. He's not very active. He's weak in the clinch, which I think Nico could take advantage of. He gets dominated on wrestling. Bad sub defense. Closes his guard constantly. And just locks in, waiting to get up for another round. And terrible takedown defense. So I think this is really going to be a bad fight. Both sloppy fighters. I don't think anyone's going to gas out too terribly. But I think if Nikolai can keep this standing, I think he knocks out Nico Price in the second round. And I think Nico Price needs to take down Votenikov before Nikolai gets a good punch off. So I'm going to go Nikolai round 2 knockout. Again, this is going to be another fight that I'm not going to click on. Alex Morono versus Daneli Donchekov. Danel Donchekov. Really good, very violent fighter. It's incredible. I was watching tape on him, and he's so violent. It was surprising just how violent he is. Hold on, let me pull up my... because again, this is very unorganized. The only fight I had seen of him before was the fight that he had with the finale of the Tough Enough, where he won Tough Enough. But watching some of his tape from the other like Ukrainian-based promotions, he's very snappy with his kicks. He has really snappy leg kicks, good body kicks. He's a very kick-heavy fighter. But when you get in close, he has really dangerous elbows. He does implement wrestling really well, and his ground and pound is some of the most violent ground and pound I've ever seen. He makes his opponents bleed in almost every one of his fights. He does have a lot of power. He's able to control on the ground if you want. He does have a good submission game too. He does finish a lot of his fights. And again, he has great takedown defense. He is very hittable on the feet. He ducks into a lot of shots, similar to Justin Gaethje. He leans back and exits with his chin really high, so he could get caught eventually in his career. And he doesn't have the best boxing. He is quite a elbow, knee kicking type fighter, so he doesn't really have the best hands. But I don't think in this fight it's going to matter too much because Alex Morono is old, frail, weak, and he's been finished in the first round 4 out of his last 5 fights, I believe. He is crafty. You got to give him to that. He doesn't give up. He does just get hurt and get knocked out. He doesn't wilt. He has good cardio. He does have decent counter striking, decent boxing, decent submission game. He does have really high volume. He has over 5 significant strikes per minute. He doesn't just back down. He stands his ground. And he's crafty, but I think in this fight, Daniil's just going to walk him down, put him up against the fence, land elbows in the clinch, and he's gonna crumble, similar to how the Carlos Leal fight happens. He'll be bouncy for a little bit until he starts slowing down, and that's when Donchenkov will find the elbows, find the knees, find the kicks, and take him down. Or not take him down, but take him out of this fight and knock him out. So I'm going to guess round 1 KO. Moving on. Julius Walker is one of the worst fighters I've ever had to do tape on, and I've done tape on Dana White's Contender Series fights and PFL fights. He's just so shit. And I picked him in both of his UFC fights, and I've never realized just how shit he is. Julius Walker, he's very tall, and he has a pretty good reach. He's a very wrestling heavy fighter. He has really good slam takedowns, pretty decent double leg. He has a decent jab because of his reach. His clinch game is pretty good. And his survivability and recovery is good. He has never been flatline knocked out. And he's a high volume shoot takedown a threat. He shoots over 4 takedowns a fight. And he does have a decent submission games. And he does throw a lot of weird elbows when in close, which gets him hit a lot because he misses them all the time. He settles for control a lot of the time. He doesn't have good takedown defense. Super high chin, isn't UFC level. Constantly getting rocked in the fights, getting chicken legged, getting wobbled. Questionable chin, very telegraphed strikes, and his cardio is terrible. For someone that relies on a heavy wrestling base, Julius Walker is some of the worst cardio I've ever seen. He's been gassed out brutally by the first round in both of his UFC fights, and I don't see much improvement in his fights because he almost got knocked out by one of the worst UFC fighters I've ever watched. What's his name? Raphael something? This man, he almost knocked him out in the 3rd round. But Justin Jacoby is on a 2-fight knockout streak against Vitor Bacino and Bruno Lopez, I believe, right? Bruno Lopez? Is that the name? Yeah. He's not a very knockout heavy fighter. He usually goes to decision. He has great boxing, good kicking game, very snappy leg kicks. He does apparently have decent power in his recent fights. His only flaw is that his takedown percentage is terrible. Like, his takedown defense percentage is terrible. I think it's hovering around 62 to 64%. And I think he does have a very vulnerable chin, but I don't think Julius is going to have the ability to knock out Jacoby, even though he is there to be knocked out. He has good cardio. He can go 3 rounds on a pretty high pace. He does have pretty good volume. He does constantly walk forwards. He counters pretty well. He has good cardio. His kickboxing is clean. I don't really see him going head kicks anymore. It's more body, legs. And that's still going to work on Julius. His boxing is going to be good enough to land on Julius Walker. And I don't see Julius Walker getting out of this fight with a decision. And I think that's the only way he's going to win this, because I do think, even though Jacoby does not have the best wrestling takedown defense, I think he will be able to stuff Walker's takedowns long enough to find the correct shots, hurt Julius, and I don't think Julius is going to recover well enough before Dustin finds the ground and pound finish or the TKO finish. So I think Dustin Jacoby by round 2 KO. Gene Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. Gene Matsumoto is being massively overlooked in this fight. I was originally going to go with Gene Matsumoto because I do enjoy him. I thought he beat Rob Font, but he got robbed. He has really good takedowns. He has a solid chin, solid recovery. A good clinch game, like good elbows in the clinch, good knees. High volume, very high volume, over 4 significant strikes a minute. Pretty good cardio. He doesn't really gas out too often. Great boxing in the pocket. Great boxing. Triples up strikes. He doesn't. For every one strike Fareed's gonna throw, Jane's gonna throw multiple. He's very tough. He has a great choke, front choke guillotine. He's very dynamic. He doesn't just. He isn't very basic. He'll throw spinning back kicks. He'll throw body kicks. He'll throw jumping knees. He will mix it up. And on the ground, he's no slouch. He does have smart wrestling. He's good. He's good defensively on the ground. He is a submission threat. He has a good Darth show, good gilly, and he does have good control time. And he is very forward heavy pace, and he does have power in his hands. But Fareed Basharat, Fareed is talented in every spectrum of the game. He's a great striker and he's a great wrestler. His lateral movement is going to be too hard for Matsumoto to track, and I think Matsumoto will be able to get G down to the ground. I think he'll be able to control him. I think on the feet it will be pretty even. Fareed has fast hands, fast kicks. He has great takedown defense. So I don't see Gene implementing his own wrestling game. I think if Gene wins this will be a kickboxing fight. He keeps his range really well. He has great defense on the feet. He doesn't really get hit too often. Great control time. He's able to smother you against the fence. He has really high fight IQ. Great head movement. And again, his striking is so technical, it's very hard to fight against. And I think Gene is too young. I think he's very inexperienced, and I think he's going to struggle to fight someone at the level of Fareed. And I think Fareed's going to just piece him up for 15 minutes and win this fight by decision. Moving on. This is going to be another fight that I'm not going to really talk too heavily about because I think this is going to be a first round finish. Both of them are their durability is very questionable. Mark Andrew Berriut has really good cardio, and he weaponizes that in most of his fights. He weaponizes a heavy pace, a really good strike. He is a good striker, and he does have good wrestling, but his chin is just too compromised, and I think Mikhail Olenjacek will be able to find that in the first round and knock out Mark Andrew Berriut. Even though I want Mark to win because he is Canadian, I think Michael will knock him out in the first round. Moving on. Rizvan Kuniev versus Jailton Almeida. Now, this is a selfish pick, because I personally hate Jailton Almeida and I want him to get cut from the UFC. He lost to Volkov in an arguably robbed decision, but I scored at Volkov because he got tripled up on significant strikes even though he had 11 minutes of control time. Jailton doesn't know how to harm another human being. He doesn't throw ground and pound. He's a terrible striker. He is very strong. He's athletic. He does have good cardio. Questionable chin because he got chinned by fucking Curtis Blades. He doesn't really have the heart of a fighter. He doesn't have the mentality of a fighter. He thinks this is a wrestling match. And if he doesn't get off his wrestling game, there's not much else to him. He will just crumble. Even though he does have phenomenal takedowns, phenomenal wrestling for heavyweight, I don't think he'll be able to manhandle Rizvan like he's able to manhandle everyone else. Rizvan has good takedown defense. Very broad guy. He's massive, tall dude. And he was stuffing a lot of takedowns from Curtis. He didn't get taken down, I don't believe. He beat Curtis Blade, arguably. He has pretty decent striking. That's where his bread and butter is. I don't think he's too, he has a strength advantage. I think he'll be stronger in the clinch than Jailton. He has good wrestling he has good offensive wrestling and good defensive wrestling. He is a submission threat. He does have pretty decent striking. He has good timed knees. He has good clinch strikes. He has a pretty good high volume on the feet for a heavyweight. And for a heavyweight of his size, he does have pretty good cardio. He has a great chin, so he's not going to get ground and pound finished by Jailton. He has a decent kicking game, but the one thing I am worried about is he does kind of settle on the fence. He does allow himself to lose minutes like that. He is a cheater. He was on steroids. But I think, honestly, I think he stuffed Jailton's takedowns. And even if he gets taken down, I think he'll be more active. And I think he'll be able to win the round with a minute of striking over 4 minutes of control time for Jailton. So I think Riz Vancunia by decision. I'm going to skip over the co-main event pretty much. I'm just going to say Kyoji Horiguchi is going to fuck up Amir Bazi. I don't know how Amir is in the top 15. He's not very talented anyway. He's pretty mediocre on the ground, pretty mediocre on the feet. While Kyoji is phenomenal pretty much anywhere, he will be able to dominate Amir. He is very tiny though, but I think his striking is next level. He's fought Demetrius Johnson. His striking is phenomenal. He is very powerful. He does have great wrestling. He does have great counter wrestling. And I think he'll be able to just dominate Amir Abazi. So I'm going to go Kyoji Horiguchi by TKO in round 3 or decision. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista is going to show levels in this fight. Vinicius is a wild, powerful striker that throws random dynamic strikes, but he gasses out really badly. And Mario Bautista is going to take advantage of that. He's going to use his technical boxing, technical kickboxing, his clinch, his wrestling, and show Vinicius levels. He is going to be a very bad decision. Vinicius is probably going to win round 1, and then Mario's just going to cruise to a decision.